Mark Zuckerberg sipped water in front of Congress, and the internet has not stopped talking about it since.
Online companies like Facebook are tracking our activities and collecting information.
Hillary Clinton acted in a way no human should. And a Fox News broadcaster that shocked everyone. Stay with us, because what you are about to see should not have been humanly possible.
Every contribution can grow over the years, just like your child.
The offer to withdraw.
Across 3 completely separate broadcasts, Trump was caught red-handed, changing forms. In the first clip, his eye narrowed mid-expression into a thin, vertical slit. The pupil shape was wrong. And the reason this wasn't a glitch was because his other eye was totally fine. The second clip caught something that primatologists and reptile researchers would recognize instantly. A slow, deliberate tongue movement along the lip line that matched exactly the sensory behavior lizards use to read their environment, tasting the air rather than simply licking a dry lip. The third broadcast was where the face itself appeared to shift. 3 moments, 3 different days, and 3 different transformations.
The offer to withdraw.
Selena's shifting leg. At the 2022 Screen Actors Guild Awards, cameras caught a moment on the red carpet that spread across the internet almost instantly. Selena Gomez stumbled, and as she went down, her leg bent in a way that wasn't humanly possible. Someone helped her up quickly, and the moment passed. But the footage had already been seen frame by thousands of people online who were pointing at her ankle and foot. The word tentacle started appearing in comments before the night was even over. Now someone did say it could be a case of hypermobility, but Selena has never ever shown such abilities. Split tongue.
Ich glaube, wenn man beim Schuh zu binden sich fragt, was könnte ich noch erledigen, wo ich schon mal hier unten bin.
German comedian and author Eckart von Hirschhausen was being filmed at a public congress in Germany where he was delivering a keynote speech on happiness. But what people noticed when they slowed the footage was a deep, defined line running straight down the center of his tongue, dividing it cleanly in a way that did not look like a normal human tongue. The split was too deliberate, too symmetrical, and too pronounced to pass as a harmless anatomical variation. A split tongue can be a body modification. That explanation exists and is valid. But nobody had ever seen Eckart mention one also. That doesn't explain how he kept on flicking his tongue. Humans don't do that.
Und ich freue mich besonders auch auf Ursula Lehr.
Reptilian's eyes. This one was caught not once but twice on 2 completely separate television broadcasts, which is what made it impossible to dismiss as a simple camera glitch. In the first clip, filmed during a live telecast, Biden's eyes lost all color mid-sentence. The pupils changed from whites to flat and then gray. Then a second clip surfaced from an entirely different show on a different day. But in this, Joe Biden is clearly younger. It showed him blinking repeatedly on camera, and with every single blink, the eyes changed colors. Black, then blue, then a flat gray, then black again, cycling through with each blink. Not normal at all. Peeling the mask. A clip shared by TikTok user GJ Prescott showed a woman on camera doing something that the reptilian community online treated as one of the most significant pieces of footage in the shapeshifter conversation. The TV host used both hands to stretch the sides of her face and appeared to pull at her skin. The skin moved in a way that felt disconnected from the underlying structure, loose and pliable, in a manner that human facial tissue simply does not behave. The theory that has surrounded this clip since it surfaced was straightforward and deeply unsettling. Certain individuals operating in public spaces wear highly sophisticated biological or synthetic masks over their true appearance, and that this woman was most likely a pawn to show off. The best place to hide something is in plain sight. Malfunctioning Clintons. Hillary Clinton had a strange moment that left people uneasy. When asked a simple question, her head started tilting and moving back and forth unnaturally, almost as if her brain couldn't process the situation. Even the reporter interviewing her looked stunned by her unsettling behavior.
I was very proud to have
Hillary tried to laugh it off, but her forced smile only made things worse. Not long after, another bizarre moment occurred. Her body appeared to malfunction, and security had to carry her into a car like she was a robot shutting down. Many believe this wasn't Hillary at all, but a clone or some kind of programmed stand-in. Not her face. During a televised appearance, Italian Prime Minister Giorgia Meloni's face did something on camera that editors and viewers noticed immediately. Meloni is recognizable by her sharp, defined features, clear skin, and distinctly structured face that has been photographed thousands of times at every angle imaginable. But in this particular moment on screen, her eyes darkened heavily around the sockets. The facial structure looked subtly different in proportion, and the overall appearance did not match her usual look in any comparable broadcast footage. It lasted only a moment before the video normalized. However, I think this was a genuine glitch, an error during a live broadcast. Reptilian presenter. During a live program in 2016, something truly strange happened. A presenter seemed to shapeshift right there in front of everyone. Her eyes seemed to change completely. Her irises turned a glowing yellow, and her pupils became narrow slits, just like a reptilian. It only lasted for a brief moment, but it was hard to miss. And did you see how she turned her face to the side right then? It was almost like she felt her mask slipping and tried to hide it. But even with that quick move, the camera still caught everything. Pelosi glitches live.
You're not taking any arrows out of your quiver. You're not ruling anything out.
Good morning. Sunday morning.
During a live ABC interview following the passing of Ruth Bader Ginsburg, anchor George Stephanopoulos asked Nancy Pelosi a direct follow-up question.
You're not taking any arrows out of your quiver. You're not ruling anything out.
What came back was not an answer. Pelosi paused, looked straight into the camera, and said, "Good morning."
Good morning.
You can see the anchor's face as he tries to make sense of what's happening. The processing behind her eyes had clearly gone somewhere else. The clip spread instantly, and the comments were brutal, with people comparing her to a computer, throwing a 404 error. The reptilian and shapeshifter communities pointed to it as a classic malfunction moment. Mark Reptilianberg.
Online companies like Facebook are tracking our activities and collecting information.
During his congressional hearing in Washington, Mark Zuckerberg reached for a glass of water, and the internet dissected every frame. The way he lifted the glass, brought it to his lips, and sipped was mechanical. The motion lacked the casual, unconsidered naturalness of how a person who has been drinking water their entire life picks up a glass. Then people notice the eye. Zuckerberg does not have a lazy eye. His symmetry in thousands of photographs and interviews confirms that, yet in this video, one eye was moving independently, like the detached eye movement of a chameleon. Him being a lizard was supported by him saying this.
But it is going to bother you because you're human, and I was human. I am human, still. But I was just referring to myself in the past, not that I was not human.
Most people in the moment let it go as a misspeaking. However, that is a strange thing to accidentally say.
Facebook has a responsibility to protect.
Now it's time for today's open discussion. During a Fox News broadcast in Dallas, a spokesperson was addressing the public about confirmed Ebola cases. But look closely. One of his eyes had turned red, a distinct, unnatural red in the iris and pupil in a way that camera reflection and studio lighting could not account for. The rest of his face was completely composed and professional, reading from prepared statements under the Texas Health Presbyterian Hospital banner. Within reptilian communities, this single red eye pattern is one of the most commonly cited markers of a failed disguise, a moment where the biological or technological mask covering the real eye briefly allowed the underlying color to show through on camera before correcting itself. Reptilian hand. During a public appearance with Donald Trump, an unidentified woman was called up onto the stage. As she walked forward, the cameras caught her hand shapeshifting. Viewers watching the footage slowed it down and noticed her fingers were missing, not obscured by shadow or angle, but genuinely absent. And then, within the same clip, they reappeared. The fingers looked elongated, thinner than they should have been, with a texture and structure that people immediately started describing as lizard-like. But what about you? Let me know in the comments if you think people are reading too much into this. Hope you've enjoyed it so far, but it's about to get more lizardy after this. Trust me, quickly like this video and subscribe so you can watch the next part just as quickly. Musk acts strange.
We have the right to make grants. We're not going to make any grants like that.
During Trump's live speech in the Oval Office, cameras caught Elon Musk moving in sudden and jerky body language and seemed totally disconnected from everyone. The comments split almost immediately into two camps. One side went straight to the reptilian angle, pointing to the stiffness, the unusual physical behavior, and the black eye, which tied him to the broader Black Eye Club. The other side came back with something more grounded, that Musk has been open about having Asperger's syndrome and that he also deals with back pain, both of which could reasonably explain the unusual posture and movement in a prolonged standing situation.
I don't think Harvard's been acting very nicely. I think Columbia wants to get to the bottom of the problem.
Hillary's eyes.
What about the way he kept interrupting and the way he answered the question about gender? Do you think women would react to that?
Filmed aboard her campaign plane during the Stronger Together tour, Hillary Clinton was being interviewed by a reporter. She looked totally annoyed at first, and even disconnected from everything. She looked deeply uninterested, almost irritated, like the performance of being present had momentarily dropped, and just then, her eyes glitched. But what made this clip genuinely unsettling was the man standing directly behind her. He was not blinking. Through the entire exchange, his eyes remained fixed and unmoving, and the moment she started behaving strangely on camera, he looked away. The eye movements, the mouth, the subtle lip behavior, they were matching each other. That part was harder to explain away than anything Clinton herself did in those few seconds.
Gender, do you think women would react to that?
Angelina Jolie.
So great to be here, and I wish I had more time, and I look forward to return.
Angelina Jolie's recent public appearance generated a wave of conversation that had nothing to do with whatever event she was attending. The footage circulating showed a woman in a white silk outfit with red lips and long highlighted hair, but her face made people suspicious. The bone structure around the cheekbones and jaw looked subtly different from the face that has been photographed at every major red carpet event for over 2 decades. The overall impression left people convinced enough to start 2 separate theories. The first was that this was a clone. The second was a body double. Neither theory was provable from the footage alone, but the number of people who watched it genuinely could not say with certainty that they were looking at the real Angelina Jolie. Doja changes on stage. During the Scarlet Tour in Houston, Texas, on November 27, 2023, Doja Cat's face changed. The eyes went wide and glassy in a way that looked less like stage performance and more like something underneath, briefly surfacing. The second shot, posted by the account Houston, We Got a Problem, showed the face in a state that people were comparing directly to Reptilian shapeshifter footage. Doja Cat's Scarlet era was already built around dark and demonic imagery, which some people pointed to as deliberate normalization, putting the real thing in plain sight and letting the theatrical framing explain it away. Jim Carrey's clone.
I'm dead. And I made mistakes, and I was like a novice, but I felt a lot of love, and I felt a lot of appreciation that I tried.
At the 51st César Awards ceremony in 2026, a man who appeared to be Jim Carrey stood on the red carpet and told an interviewer plainly, without any comedic setup, "I'm dead." The clip circulated immediately, and the reaction was not laughter.
I'm dead.
People who watched it closely started raising serious questions about whether the person standing at that ceremony was actually Jim Carrey at all. The face looked slightly off to people who had followed Carrey for decades, the eyes missing the signature quality that made him recognizable. Then, someone claimed that what people were seeing was not a clone at all, but a person wearing a highly sophisticated mask of Jim Carrey's face. Macron's redeye.
Les Européens ont une responsabilité particulière.
On January 15, 2026, during a televised appearance in Istres, France, Emmanuel Macron was mid-speech when viewers noticed something bizarre. His right eye was visibly red. Within the reptilian community, the conversation went somewhere more specific almost immediately. There is a long-standing belief embedded in this theory that when a clone is being switched out, or when a physical correction is being made to a disguise, it leaves a visible mark on the body. The black eye, or in this case the red eye, is considered one of those markers. Do you think he is also a clone or reptilian?
Car ce territoire est aussi celui d'un de nos alliés de l'OTAN.
Alter ego.
This spasm of publicity about what happened from Mexico to London.
It was pretty rough, yeah. Yeah, it's kind of weird. Ah, weird. Hello. Oh my goodness. Hello. Ew. Strong Britney.
In an emotional interview with Diane Sawyer, Britney Spears had a moment that left fans puzzled. When Diane mentioned the word spasms, Britney suddenly changed. Her expressions and mood shifted dramatically, almost as if she became someone else entirely. Many think this strange behavior could be connected to some sort of mind control. Because of her eyes, she was also called a reptilian. Over the years, Britney's actions have continued to raise eyebrows, with people pointing to similar moments in her life. Some believe it's more than just the pressures of fame, that she is dealing with powers much darker and sinister.
Yeah, it was a weird time. Ew, I'm embarrassed. Can we stop this?
She isn't human. Susan Dell, wife of tech billionaire Michael Dell, appeared on camera, but she did something so creepy, people were shocked. Her eyes were wide open throughout the entire clip. Human eyes naturally break their gaze, shift focus, soften and blink with a rhythm that happens automatically and unconsciously. Susan Dell's eyes did none of that. They stayed perfectly round, perfectly still, and perfectly open. The wives and partners of major tech figures have appeared repeatedly in reptilian community discussions, partly because of their proximity to some of the most powerful, and partly because footage like this keeps surfacing. Royal reptilian hand. There was this clip of a Saudi prince going around online, and people immediately noticed something weird. His hand didn't look right, like it was stiff, almost like a prop, sitting in a way that felt totally unnatural. It didn't match his body at all, and it moved wrong. Some people said maybe it was a reptilian disguise slipping for a moment, while others thought it could be some kind of hidden tech or device under the sleeve. Either way, it just didn't feel human. But what do you think was really going on here? Andre the Reptile. During a backstage WWE interview, Andre the Giant appeared off. The first thing that caught attention was his eyes. They didn't look normal, almost as if the color had shifted unnaturally. Then his smile appeared, revealing jagged, sharp teeth, unlike any humans. For a brief moment, viewers felt a distinctly reptilian presence, leaving fans questioning if what they were seeing was accidental or a glimpse of something hidden among us. Hissing reporter.
We buy a Chinese firm?
No, not right now.
Then why should they buy one of ours?
Why not?
Because we can't buy one of theirs. Open up the market.
Very,
Quid
very
pro
well.
quo,
Yes,
Clarice.
We have
Back in 2009, on CNBC during Squawk Box, Joe Kernan got into a heated debate. You'd expect raised voices, maybe a gesture or two, right? But instead, right in the middle, he hissed at the guest.
Open up the market. Quid pro quo, Clarice.
we have
A real, sharp hiss. Not a joke, not a slip of the tongue. People were stunned, because humans don't act like this no matter how angry or frustrated they get. They might swear or something else, but not hiss. So, what do you think made him hiss, if not to accidentally reveal his reptilian side? Secret cult signs. Standing on the White House balcony alongside Trump, Melania, and Brigitte Macron during a state visit, Emmanuel Macron threw up a gesture that people noticed immediately. The sign, formed with the fingers in a configuration that has been tied to Illuminati and secret society symbolism for decades, was not a wave, not a point, and not an accidental hand position. It was deliberate and held long enough for cameras to capture it cleanly from multiple angles. Within communities that track elite symbolism, this kind of public gesture made in plain sight at a major diplomatic event is considered more significant than a hidden signal. Reptilian Queen. In this strange video, Queen Elizabeth was seen with one completely black eye. Viewers were unsettled by the mark, but for those who knew the theory of soul scalping, it made sense to them in the most terrifying way. The theory claimed that reptilians were trying to gain power over humans, slowly taking control of their bodies and minds to use them as vessels. The black eye was believed to be the sign of that takeover. The theory grew stronger when more famous figures appeared with black eyes, leading to talk of a cult called the Black Eye Club. Eye twitch. Oklahoma City Thunder star Shai Gilgeous-Alexander was being filmed during a live broadcast when his eyes did something not humanly possible. A brief but visible change in the quality and appearance of the iris that people started describing as a reptilian eye change. SGA is one of the most watched players in the NBA right now. Signal caught. At a major public event, with cameras pointed at the Trump family from every direction, Eric Trump was caught holding an occult hand sign for long enough that it was impossible to say it was an accidental finger position. His hands were clasped together in a specific configuration in front of him. Then the woman standing behind him leaned in, said something directly into his ear, and he dropped it immediately. This was very suspicious. Don't you agree? Possessed on stage. On the 23rd of June, back in 2024, during her Eras Tour show at Wembley Stadium in London, Taylor Swift glitched. Or was it more? Her eyes were wide, darkened heavily around the sockets, and the expression carried a vacancy that looked nothing like a performer in the middle of a stadium show. The word possessed started appearing in comments almost instantly, and the clip spread globally within hours, given the scale of the Eras Tour audience. Wembley holds nearly 90,000 people, and the show was being watched by millions more online. So, on a stage like that, mistakes cannot be made by production. This was intentional, to send a specific message. Truth or deceit?
Well, because I was one of the first people saying, oh, I'm not these people's parents. Now I get it. I look at it from a different perspective now, because superstars inadvertently become role models.
Nicki Minaj was being filmed in what appeared to be a behind-the-scenes or interview setting. The person in the footage allegedly made statements about programming and brainwashing, language that within these communities points directly to MK Ultra-style celebrity mind control. The clone theory around Nicki Minaj had been circulating for years before this clip appeared, with people pointing to shifts in her personality, her public behavior, and subtle physical differences across different periods of her career. The comment section divided into people who believed this was the clone breaking its own programming by speaking openly about it, and people who argued that this was exactly what the handlers wanted, keeping the public distracted by chasing circles. Drop what you think happened in the comments below.
If they like your music, they're listening to it over and over and over. It's programming. And they might try some of those things they hear you talk about.
Glitch or cloned? Outside a hotel in London, a crowd had gathered to catch a glimpse of Lady Gaga, but when she finally appeared, everyone was shocked. She walked out barefoot, but her movements were more strange. Lady Gaga has been known to be eccentric, but this still felt off for man. She didn't appear as if she knew what she was doing. Even her bodyguards didn't know how to react, and can be seen looking at one another in confusion. Conspiracy theorists said she is a puppet like other celebrities, and this was her mind control malfunctioning. What do you think? Reptilian glitch. This religious preacher was giving a sermon when something totally bizarre happened to him just a few minutes into the video. His head changed forms, causing him to look distorted and otherworldly. His face was replaced by something reptilian that was green in color and a lizard-like face. It happened again. This time, the reptilian face was more visible. Viewers were shocked to see it. Similar glitches do not happen twice in a row. Staring into soul. The video you're about to watch now was taken down and can only be found on restricted sites. It is from a British program that shows a guy aimlessly staring directly into the camera without moving a muscle, and without blinking even once. And his eyes are not human at all, but rather look exactly like a lizard with slits in the middle where there should be round pupils. His nose is also bizarrely pointy, and ears dead straight. It continued till the video ended moments later. Bill Clinton. A strange clip of Bill Clinton has been making people uneasy. In the footage, the former president appears frozen, his face pale and expressionless, almost like he's in a trance. Some even say he looks like a puppet controlled by invisible strings. What makes it even more mysterious is that this happened off-air during the Bush-Clinton campaign. Many believe it's a sign that he wasn't entirely in control of his actions. The idea that powerful figures might have placed him in the White House adds another layer of mystery to this eerie moment. People can't stop speculating about what was really happening behind the scenes. Reptilian on camera. Do you think some people aren't human but another species in disguise? Meet Janna, a Russian woman famous for her skincare products, which are said to work wonders. At 47, she looks like she's in her 20s, but her youthful appearance may hide something darker. In interviews, her eyes have been caught on camera changing shape, looking eerily reptilian. Viewers were quick to call her a reptilian in disguise. Many now question what's really behind her success and her so-called secret formula. The theory has gained traction, making her one of the most talked about figures in this bizarre conspiracy. Barbara Bush.
Single man, woman, and child in the state of South Carolina awakens to a freer, safer world because of George.
During a campaign speech urging people to vote for her husband, George Bush, Barbara Bush made people uneasy with her strange behavior. Her eyes were oddly fixated, and her head moved in a way that didn't seem natural. Viewers also pointed out how she hardly blinked throughout the entire message, and there was something almost crazy in her eyes. The fact that she never acted like this again only deepened suspicions. It made some wonder whether powerful forces were influencing politicians, controlling not only their actions, but also the public's perception.
I would remind people that every single morning we all awaken to a safer, freer world because of George Bush.
Reptilian caught live. That was not a technical glitch, nor was it a camera effect. Caroline Kebacus is a German comedian, and during one of her shows, she was caught red-handed changing forms. Her true reptilian self was seen in her eyes. You can clearly see what her eyes did there, and when this video was uploaded on her official channel, viewers noticed this reptilian failing to contain her true form. However, suspiciously, that video has this part removed from the video now. After people noticed it, some managed to save the moment before it was permanently removed. What do you have to say about this? Is she an actual reptilian? If not, then why was this part removed? Let me know in the comments, and thank you for watching. Reptilian sighting. This unsettling video is spreading quickly across the internet. During a live interview with Kamala Harris, something strange happened to the man right behind her. Watch carefully. His eyes shifted in the most terrifying way. They turned completely blank, and for a second, they even seemed to grow larger. No one on set seemed to notice it at that moment, but the camera didn't miss it. The whole thing was caught on live TV, and once people spotted it, the clip started going viral as people started calling him a reptilian in disguise. Bob Corker transformation. For years, people have talked about reptilians living among us, trying to blend in with humans. But no matter how much they try to hide, small details always give them away. That's exactly what might have happened to Bob Corker during his speech at the Kennedy Center in Washington, D.C. As he spoke on stage, his eyes changed completely. His pupils turned into narrow slits, just like a reptilian, and stayed that way for a while. When the clip became viral, people started saying that he must be a reptilian in disguise, whose mask had slipped off right on camera. Teeth transformation. During a live TV show, Brazilian presenter Silvio Santos shocked everyone when his teeth started to look terrifying. They appeared sharp and pointy. His teeth even seemed to change shape constantly, like they were trying to return to normal. It clearly wasn't bad oral health either, because this is what his usual smile looks like. All these videos couldn't be just a coincidence. Could this be a slip that revealed their true identity? Reptilian man? Look behind this man carefully, because something really strange was going on. As a football coach gave his interview after the match, the man standing behind him suddenly took all the attention. Look closely to see why. His pupil looked nothing like a normal human's. It was vertical in shape, and his iris seemed unusually light too. If this was just a camera glitch, the coach's eyes would have looked odd as well, but they didn't. So could it mean that a reptilian was standing right there during the match? Exiled humanoid. On January 16th, 2025, a video posted by Kenny Mikhailson started circulating on TikTok after it showed a mysterious man. His eyes were pale, wide, and almost entirely white, with an intensity that didn't sit right when you looked at him directly. But it wasn't just the eyes. The man was claiming he had been exiled from a land beyond the ice wall, and that the world everyone around him lived in was nothing more than a prison. The eyes, his jagged, rotten teeth, combined with the claim, have made people very suspicious of who this human actually was. Since he has not been seen for a year, people haven't fully decided on a final answer. That's all for today. Or is it? Hit the subscribe button so you don't miss what we've got lined up. It's even stranger than this. See you on the weird side.